explainer, today we're shining a spotlight on a pretty fascinating dietary supplement called Prime Biome. Now listen, if you spent any time navigating the wildly frustrating world of skincare, you know the struggle all too well. Millions of us are out here dropping thousands of dollars every single year on these complex routines, harsh chemical peels, and endless trips to the dermatologist. And the worst part? We're still dealing with premature aging, stubborn dullness, or those breakouts that just won't quit. To make matters worse, a lot of the folks dealing with these skin issues are also silently putting up with daily digestive discomfort. You know, the bloating, the sluggishness, the irregularity. Well, the source material we're analyzing today proposes a really unique solution. It claims to fix both of these seemingly separate issues with a single approach that works entirely from the inside out. We're going to thoroughly unpack the science, detail the ingredients, and look at the real-world feedback provided by the manufacturer to see what this is truly all about. So the core premise of our sources revolves around this surprising biological secret that literally flips traditional beauty advice completely on its head. Get this, the sources argue that your gut is actually the key to having great skin. I know, that sounds incredibly counterintuitive, right? We've been so conditioned by the beauty industry to treat our skin from the outside in. We scrub, we peel, we layer on 5 different serums, but the research presented suggests that this outside-in mindset misses the mark entirely. Instead, the sources reveal that your gut health is basically the ultimate maestro, and it's conducting the entire symphony of your skin's radiance. It dictates how you process nutrients, how your body manages inflammation, and how you expel toxins. If we can cultivate a healthy gut environment, the research suggests the natural, automatic byproduct is healthy, beautiful skin. To give you the absolute best, most detailed review of the source material, here is our roadmap for today. We're going to cover 1. The gut-skin connection, 2. What's inside the formula, 3. Real results, 4. Honest pros and cons, and 5. The pricing and final verdict. Let's get right to it. Okay, section 1. The gut-skin connection. Let's actually look at the specific biological problem Prime Biome aims to solve. The foundation of this whole approach rests on your microbiome. This is that massive, complex ecosystem of bacteria in your digestive tract, and it's the absolute bedrock of your overall wellness. Now, the science highlighted in the sources details how an imbalanced gut lining can actually become compromised. When that happens, toxins and undigested food particles can essentially leak into your bloodstream, and you can imagine that triggers a massive immune response, creating systemic internal inflammation. It's like an internal fire. And where does that internal fire usually show up first? Right on your face. This inflammation triggers the breakouts, makes eczema worse, causes severe dryness, and it actually speeds up the breakdown of collagen, meaning faster skin aging. So the proposed solution here is that by restoring balance to your microbiome using targeted, beneficial bacteria, you effectively put out that fire from the inside, significantly reducing the inflammation that's causing those surface-level disasters. The source material really emphasizes that Prime Biome supports anti-aging specifically by targeting your skin cell turnover. This is the biological life cycle where your body sheds the old, dull surface cells and replaces them with fresh, healthy ones from underneath. But here's the catch. As we age, or when our bodies are just bogged down by poor digestion, this process slows way down. Dead cells start to pile up, and that is exactly what causes that dull, tired, wrinkled appearance. When your gut is optimized and actually absorbing nutrients correctly, your body suddenly gets the high-quality fuel it needs to accelerate that turnover rate back to optimal levels. The result? Smoothing of fine lines, better elasticity, and the restoration of a natural youthful glow that topical treatments just struggle to mimic. When we compared this inside-out gummy approach to the traditional alternatives the sources mention, it's a pretty stark contrast. I mean, traditional topical creams often fail because their molecular structure is literally too big to penetrate the epidermis. They just sit right on the surface, maybe offering some temporary moisture. Then, on the totally opposite end of the spectrum, you have options like Botox. And Botox is not only incredibly expensive, it's invasive, it's temporary, and it always carries that risk of a stiff or unnatural look. Prime Biome is presented as the alternative to both. It aims to tackle the biological root cause organically, rather than just masking symptoms on the surface or resorting to injections. Moving right along to section 2. Inside the formula. Let's see exactly how this thing is built to pull off these inside-out results. Breaking down the hard science here, the sources highlight a highly specific blend. On the probiotic side, the manufacturer uses strains like Lactobacillus acidophilus and Bifidobacterium longum. Biologically speaking, their main job in your gut is to break down food way more efficiently, which eases your daily bloating and boosts nutrient absorption. But at the exact same time, as they set up a healthier gut flora, they actively reduce that systemic inflammation we just talked about, strengthening your skin's natural barrier. Then, working right alongside those probiotics are powerful botanicals like curcumin, which comes from turmeric. Curcumin is legendary in the source literature for its ability to flush out toxins in the gut, promoting a visibly brighter and clearer complexion on the outside. It's a real dual-action approach. But the formula doesn't just stop at probiotics and botanicals. It packs this powerful lineup of natural, vegan-friendly antioxidants and vitamins, each with a very specific job. Take biotin, for example. It's in there to drive natural keratin production, absolutely crucial for your skin's structural integrity. Zinc gluconate is used to help regulate excess oil production, targeting a primary cause of acne right at the source. We've also got hyaluronic acid, which is famous for holding up to 1,000 times its weight in water, working from the inside to lock in deep cellular hydration. And that is paired with vitamin C, which your body absolutely requires to synthesize collagen naturally. What's really interesting here is that according to the sources, because this combo makes your digestive process so much more efficient, users frequently report a massive surge of natural energy during the day. Why? Because their bodies are no longer wasting precious resources trying to force food through an inflamed gut. Okay, on to section 3, real results. Let's look at how this scientific theory actually translates into reality for everyday people. Looking at the testimonials provided by the manufacturer, we have users like Emmy from California. She admits she was initially pretty skeptical about fading dark spots and fine lines using a supplement, but her experience perfectly highlights these claims in action. She says her complexion feels completely renewed from the inside out, noting her skin looks smoother, brighter, and way more youthful. This anecdotal evidence lines up perfectly with that accelerated skin cell turnover science we broke down a few minutes ago. Next up, the source material highlights Michelle from Arizona, and her review provides a really fascinating comparison. Michelle used to depend on Botox, but felt burdened by that stiff, unnatural look and all the anxiety that comes with those procedures. By switching her routine to focus entirely on her gut health, she reports her skin feels firmer, smoother, and just has a natural glow. It allowed her to totally ditch the painful, expensive, and stressful cosmetic treatments she used to rely on. And you've got to hear about this highly notable report from Susie in Texas. While she confirmed the expected benefits of clearer skin, she experienced a wild secondary benefit. Susie reported dropping 3 dress sizes without making drastic diet changes. I know, it sounds crazy, but it actually aligns right with the underlying science in the sources. An optimized gut microbiome can seriously boost your metabolic rate and drastically reduce chronic bloating. It just proves that fixing the gut can lead to profound, full-body changes that go way beyond just your complexion. Moving into section 4, honest pros and cons. We need to evaluate the constraints and the benefits based strictly on the source material so you get the full, objective picture. Evaluating the pros, the sources highlight that this is a 100% natural, non-GMO, and gluten-free formula. Crucially, it's made right here in the US inside an FDA-registered and GMP-certified facility. That means strict quality control and pure ingredients. And most importantly, it targets the biological root cause. But the sources are equally clear about the cons. This is not an overnight magic trick. Because your microbiome has trillions of bacteria, shifting that ecosystem takes time. Optimal results require 3 to 5 months of consistent daily use to let that beneficial bacteria fully colonize. Also, the manufacturer warns that because of high demand and the sourcing of these specific ingredients, their stock levels frequently run limited. Finally, section 5, pricing and the final verdict. Let's break down the tiers, the discounts, and the guarantee. The pricing model is actually directly tied to that biological timeline we just discussed. A single bottle starts at $69. However, since the science says you really need a 3 to 5 month commitment for the microbiome to truly balance out, the manufacturer heavily incentivizes the multi-bottle packages. Grabbing 3 bottles drops the overall price to $177, and the 6-bottle package brings your cost all the way down to just $49 a bottle. So the structure financially rewards the long-term consistency your gut biology literally requires to see the results. Plus, if you opt for those discounted multi-bottle packages, it unlocks 2 digital bonuses. Bonus number 1 is the Say Goodbye to Cellulite Guide, which focuses on natural at-home techniques to firm up the skin. Bonus number 2 is the Radiant Hair Secrets Guide, giving you expert methods for thicker, fuller hair. They're meant to pair outside-in techniques with the inside-out work the gummies are already doing for you. Now, to address the totally normal skepticism of trying a new supplement, the manufacturer backs all of this with a 60-day money-back guarantee. And the policy is super straightforward. If you don't experience clearer skin, better digestion, or more energy within 60 days, you can return it. The sources explicitly note you can return the bottles even if they are completely empty, so you can practically test the product through a huge chunk of the recommended timeline and still get a full refund, no questions asked, if you aren't impressed. Which brings us to our final thought. If the research is right, and your gut really is the secret conductor behind radiant skin and daily energy, isn't it time to stop the endless cycle of treating surface symptoms and actually heal the biological source? If you are ready to ditch the harsh chemical creams and experience this gut-skin harmony for yourself, click the link in the description below to secure your supply of Prime Biome today, subject to current stock availability, of course. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and here's to understanding your health from the inside out.